The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 61 of the Daily Mother Swole. That's pretty obvious. I'm just going to start calling this the Daily Mother because the swole is obvious. I'm feeling good today. Got some great sleep, caught up on some things, and super motivated. And I wanted to get into a topic. I got this question a lot yesterday after the broadcast, and I got it a few times last night. I don't know what was going on, why. Maybe it was like a full gaining moon or something like that. I think we should start our own calendar of the moon of gains and start tracking these mass constellations that are flowing through our bodies, because I feel like everyone has the same question at the same time for some reason. I don't know what. I have to check out the lay of the universe. You know, the universe wants me to talk about this today. Let's talk about why Crunches are bullshit. Why you don't need crunches for abs, why crunches are a way of the past, but also why crunches have their application. So I'm not telling anyone, but MMA fighters do crunches or boxers do crunches or extra. Yeah, it doesn't mean it doesn't work certain muscles. Obviously you're moving, so you're working certain muscles, but why do you do crunches? I mean, not crunches. Why do you do crunches? Why do you do sit-ups? Okay, the classics. Why do you do a lot of sit-ups? Crunches and sit-ups. I'm kind of grouping those together. Really more about sit-ups, but why? Why do a lot of people bang out, I do 500, why do I do 1,000 a night, every day? It's because you want abs. Because you want to be lean, okay? There's a couple different conflicting ideas here. You're trying to work muscle so you can see the muscle better. The muscle might develop, might not grow, but don't forget, we talked about this a bunch of times. We always talk about it. It's a theme. The fat's on top. The fat's on top of the muscle. So no matter what you do, you could build all the muscle in the world. If you're eating McDonald's, if you're not getting rid of the fat, the subcutaneous fat on top of the muscle, you're still going to not be able to really see your abs. So you have to get rid of what's on top. Super important to get rid of the cover. You gotta take the blanket off. You gotta uncover the abs. So let's get into the crunches and the sit-ups. Hip flexor work. A lot of these abdominal exercises do a lot of hip flexor work. If you are sitting up all the way, if you're crunching to the point where your lower back is coming up off the ground, you are working a lot of your hip flexors. Now, hip flexors should be strong, but they should also be stretched. And now the problem with working your hip flexors too much and coming up all the way and doing too much of a range of motion for your abdominals is that you will tighten up muscles that are usually tight all day. If you're sitting down a lot, if you're in the car a lot, if you're at work at a desk, your hip flexors get very short and stiff. They get weak, but they get very stiff and short, and that's why foam rolling the hip flexors and foam rolling and stretching is super important for the hips. That's why the glutes, my YouTube video, the supine hip bridge is super important because it counters the single leg squat, the plank. Those exercises counter the tightness of the hip flexors and the strength of the hip flexors. So doing things like crunches, doing things like sit-ups just really jack up the hip flexors, and it creates too much of a range of motion, more so than when you're actually working your abdominals. I've also talked about why the transverse abdominis, why planks are more important than doing crunches and sit-ups. That's also true. I'm going to kind of code over that again today. Crunches, abs, what you need to do to flatten your stomach is work the transverse abdominis. You need to do planks. You need to hold your body in a nice straight position and do a plank. I have a video on YouTube as well, the plank, how to plank properly. You need to do that, and that's going to help flatten out your stomach. Remember that the 6-pack, the 8-pack, the 10-pack, the 12-pack, whatever you are blessed with, because everyone has a different shape of their abdominal, the way it looks like, your abdominals are going to work during movement. Now, you want to create stability in that midsection. You want to create stability there. Now, if you're doing crunches and you're doing all this kind of flexing, extending, you can also be creating a lot more pain. One of the problems is, or one of the reasons why people want a strong core is to prevent lower back injury. Over 90% of people in this country have lower back injury at least once in their lifetime. So pretty much everyone here, everyone on this podcast, I would say raise your hand, but send a message. I don't know, can you post like a raised hand? Give me a heart if you've had a lower back injury, if you've had pain, if you've woken up and you've had lower back pain. Just give me a heart. Or say 1, yeah. How many times you might throw out your back regularly. I don't know. That's at least once, You might have regular back pain. You might have chronic back pain. But working your back isn't necessarily going to strengthen it. Doing crunches could also exacerbate it and make it worse. You need to strengthen your core. You need to make sure your lower back is stable and secure. That's why the hip bridge, that's why the plank, and that's why the single leg squat and those exercises are great for the base of the core, stability. So if you create that stability, you create that posterior tilt, you'll decrease that sway back in your lower back, you'll flatten your stomach out, and it will work towards making your stomach tighter and thinner and stronger during all your lifts. And as you do your total body strength training and building muscle, you'll help burn more fat in your midsection as well. And remember, the whole body is a system. You can't spot correct one thing. So lower back is already at risk, so doing crunches, doing a lot of sit-ups and just jacking up, doing too much range of motion, tightening up the hip flexors, putting pressure on the lower back, you're already at risk for bending improperly, for sitting down in a chair, for sitting down in a car, at a computer. That's why, I think you guys know this, that my desk is standing, that this is a standing desk. I'm right now doing calf raise. This is because I'm just seeing you can look me from this angle. I'm standing up right now. I have one of those mats that they'll use at, let's say, a cashier, one of those like gel or air or kind of like puff mats that I can stand on because, it doesn't really matter if you're standing or sitting. The human body is not meant to be in one place all the time. So even when I start standing, oh my God, my back, I have to I get down and I stretch every 20, 30 minutes. I'll take a 5-minute break, walk around, do a little yoga, do a little stretching to loosen up. And I'm always kind of moving back and forth, but I'm standing. And I've seen dramatic improvements even for just the week or 2 or 3 weeks where I was sitting down all the time because it's not good to sit down all the time and then go and try to lift heavy weights. It's too much. An hour of yoga once a day is not going to balance out sitting down for 10 hours. It's going to try, but it's going to be really challenging to balance out all of that lack of movement. Okay, compounded. Think about it. It's just 1 hour. Yeah, you're moving, but it's only for an hour, and you're sitting down every day for 10. So in the course of a week, let's say 7 days a week, you're sitting down for 80 or 70 hours, and then you're doing yoga for 6 or 7. I mean, it'll help a lot, but come on, the scale is still tilted. So you have to think about your health. Think about your health. You have to think about the future. You have to think about your future. Yeah, that's right, Andres. Our bodies will adapt to anything. They will adapt. Even if it puts you through pain, they'll adapt and try to, you'll even feel less pain. Even if it hurts you, your body will start to send less pain signals because it's just used to it. What up? Yep, Viking in the house. But your body will get used to it. Your body will get used to, whatever you're doing, whether you're sitting down a lot, whether you're standing a lot. So anyway, your body needs stability, not more excessive flexion. You don't need to be doing crunches, sitting up all the way. The abdominals actually only have a little bit of movement. I always compare it to, really, if you're on the ground, you only need to bring your shoulders up off the ground. You want to keep your lower back in contact with the ground. Your abs really only have a couple inches. Try to compress your abs together. Try to squeeze them together like an accordion, like you're folding a book, not like you're trying to bring your shoulders up to your knees. Way too much range of motion. And it's hard to explain that kind of stuff standing here, limited mobility, but your abs, crunches, like if I'm standing up here, you can see me a little bit on Periscope and YouTube and Busker. That's it. And you're fully flexing your rectus abdominis. You do not have to sit all the way up. You might feel like it burns your abs because you're doing an isometric hold. Once you start coming up off the ground, you're doing isometrics with the midsection, but you're also working mostly the hip flexors and you're tightening up muscles that are already tight. Okay, so you can see how even when people try to, good questions, hold those. Even when people try to, do something to help themselves, a lot of times you can even make it worse. So when you go to the gym, or when you see people working out doing abs, they have good intentions. They're trying to make it better, but their information is not, their motivation is there, but the direction is off. They actually could be compounding the problem, making it worse. They might feel tired, feel a burn in their abs, but they're creating more tension in their rectus abdominis. They're not balancing out the base of the core. They're not fixing the glutes. They're not fixing the transverse abdominis. They're creating more of a forward pull in their midsection. Even though they're working the rectus abdominis, the front, the six-pack, they're tightening that up more and putting more pressure on the lower back rather than alleviating it. So you're in pain or you're imbalanced all day, and then you're going to do an exercise and you're making it worse. That sucks, right? I mean, you're actively taking the time to make change. Wouldn't you rather be doing the right things to make it better? Okay? It's not all about having the most ridiculous burn. It's not all about having a 10-pack. That's great. That's great, but then it doesn't matter if you have ripped abs, but then you have back pain. Because a lot of people are lean. Don't think it just because you're lean, oh, you're healthy and no, there's bodybuilders that are tight as hell and they're walking around all lean, they're taking supplements or, everyone's different. Everyone's genetically different. Some people just are leaner more naturally, So it's hard to say who will have that balance, but you have to understand that if you work for health, if you work for longevity, you have time. You have time to cut. You have time to work on aesthetics. If you're injured, think about this. If you're injured, you can't work out. It's like work for making money. Let's say, obviously, you have to work to make money. If you're sick, can you work? If you're injured, you can't work out. It throws you off your pattern. You're not going to see progress if you're injured. So if you err to the side of caution, knock on wood, I've never had real major injury. Thanks, Chris. I've never had a major injury in the gym. I work out regularly for 14, 15 years. I'm going to have swelling. I'm going to have pain in my, tendinitis and, my shoulder bothers me. I'm going to have little tweaks, but I have good form. I stretch. I take care of myself. I take days off. When I did those 1,801 reps, 2 days ago, I'm starting to feel really sore today. I'm really tight. I don't know. I might take another day off. I took a day off yesterday. I felt kind of good. I felt kind of tired, but I knew my body was fatigued, like physiologically, just drained. So I didn't work out yesterday. Today I feel really tight and just sore. I feel like I just need to stretch and just kind of loosen up. What's one day off? What's one more day? Why just go under heavy duress? That's a lot of reps. That was a lot in the sun. I was dehydrated. I was in the sun yesterday by the pool relaxing. I mean, it's like, gotta give your body some rest. Think about the stress that your body goes through in order to keep you even keel. So don't underestimate the power of rest. I'm not saying just do nothing but a foam roll, stretch, and just take one more day off, one more day to prevent injury. It's worth it. Anyhow, so stability for the low back, the planks, hip bridges, single leg squats. Remember, the core goes from the base of the spine, from the butt up to the neck, and also mobility for the thoracic spine. So I talk about, doing rotation exercise, things like that, but the lower back needs to have stability. You have stability in the lower back. This is all why crunches, you're not creating stability, you're creating movement. Those are movement exercises. Crunches and sit-ups are movement exercises. So things like the plank, the hip bridge, doing things like squats, deadlifts properly, those exercises in the gym too create great core strength. But you have to be doing deadlifts and squats properly. But that's why resistance training is great, because it works globally and it hits those abdominal muscles. You can get abs just by dieting and training hard. You don't have to do a ton of crunches. I don't necessarily not recommend doing ab exercises, but people always doing bending, whereas they should be creating stability, not movement. Stability, not movement. Yeah, the landmines are more stability. You're moving your arms with the resistance around a stable core. You're not twisting your spine. Most people do landmines wrong. That makes me cringe because it's just a herniated disc waiting to happen. They're bending their knees and they're rotating their lower back. You need to suck your stomach in. It's a very limited range of motion. People go all the way down. People always like to go A to B. That's why crunches and that's a great time to say that. That's why crunches and sit-ups are so popular, because people are on the ground, they crunch up and they want to go to B. They want to go from point A to point B, all the way up to their knees and back down. It's A to B, A to B. They have to go beginning and end. They don't think function. People don't think function. They don't think, what is working in this range? Can I do a landmine? I don't know how the hell I would do a landmine. I might, I don't have, maybe. I don't have a barbell. So we'll see. But when you are doing your exercises, yeah, I need a barbell landmine. Not really. No, I don't. No, I don't. I'm fine without that. When you're doing exercises, understand what muscle is working and work that muscle. You need to stop going A to B. You need to stop thinking you have to do a distance. Go all the way down to the sides, and all the way down to the other sides, and all the way down to the other sides. No, keep it tight, do it right. Short. Your hips should not be moving. You shouldn't be moving your hips. It's only a couple inches both directions, and then you're creating stability in the lower back, stability in the core, and then keeping the middle of your back and allowing the thoracic spine to do motion. Yep, that's exactly what it's like. Putting a barbell in a corner. Yeah, I mean, I want to do more exercise videos. I just don't want crazy backgrounds. You know, I have, I'll be doing more stuff. Don't worry. Every time I mention something, I'm not going to go run out and like, oh, filming it. But, but don't worry, I have a running list of things to do. Tons of videos, tons of content. There's plenty of time. The Daily Swole, every day and more and more. So that's kind of stuff I put on Premium. I do exclusive videos on my Premium Facebook page. That's where we do a lot of like really detailed questions like these. It's when we really get, those are where I really give specific answers to those that are in the secret group on Facebook, Swolenormous Premium, which is lovely. Love it. So some exercises. So before anyone asks, what exercises are good? What exercises are good for abs? Well, if crunches and sit-ups are bullshit, like you said in the title, Dash, what are good? Planks. The hip bridges are great for core. Leg lifts, for example, like if you're hanging leg raise, those are great, but make sure you're holding at the top, lowering your legs slowly. Those are great for core. Keep your stomach sucked in, keep that posterior tilt as you bring your knees up to your chest and hold for 2 seconds, lower slowly. Also, a ball crunch, when done appropriately, really short range of motion, supports the lower back, really isolates the midsection, and also reverse crunches. And these are a couple things. I do want to do a video on reverse crunches, though that's a really great thing to demonstrate, and that's a very commonly improperly done exercise. The reverse crunch, it changes which part of the spine starts the movement, so you're getting a little bit more mechanical breadth on the abs. So that's a great exercise too. Understand that the abdominals are an interesting muscle because it spreads over the spine where you need both stability and you need mobility. Remember, lower back is stability, middle back is mobility. You need to have that stability in the base of the core and that mobility in the thoracic spine. If you train for health, if you train for longevity, you will do better because you'll be more consistent with your strength training and with your overall aesthetic development. Remember, no matter what you're doing, I want to gain muscle, I want to lose weight, I want to get leaner, always err on the side of health and longevity, and you will see better change because you'll be more consistent, and you won't be sitting in the corner with a bad knee or a bad back, and it'll limit your ability to perform your exercises. Okay? Thank you so much for joining me. I'll stay for a few minutes after on Periscope. Remember, if you haven't checked out Swolenormous Premium, go on to www.swolenormous.com and check out Swolenormous Premium, where you get accountability, social support, exclusive exercises, nutritional tips, shopping cart plans, foam rolling, stretching, yoga videos, a lot of stuff on Swolenormous Premium, exclusive $4.99 a month for the first 100 members for life, I promise. And a lot of great stuff on there, accountability and stuff, all this information, all this complicated information, all this stuff that might be going over your head, that's really packaged and directed specifically towards you. So if you have any questions, you can message me. You can check it out on my website and jump on that. Everyone should be that loves this content, that really wants to make a change. We do weekly accountability meetings on Monday after the Daily Swole, and always updating, always putting more content on there to keep you on track. So it helps if you're losing weight. It helps if you're building muscle, if you want to get leaner, if you want to try carb cycling, ketosis, if you want to try more strength training. You could upload videos of your own form, and I'll break it down for you. It's like personal training, but in a group and for a absolute fraction of the price. So it's a great, great deal. So check that out on my website, Swolenormous.com. And I will see everyone tomorrow on episode 62 of The Daily Swole. So thank you for joining me, The Daily Mother Swole. Gainbraham Lincoln punching out. I'll stay for a couple more minutes on Periscope. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.